Yeah, anyone giving any listen again? Any questions so far?
Hello, Papa.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Papa.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Hello.
probably. Yeah, please, good evening, Papa.
Good evening, my brother. How are you?
Papa, please, I'm fine.
Okay.
Papa, please, my question is, I want to find out whether the book of Hebrews is part of Paul's book that he wrote.
Okay. Thank you. Any other? Then we can answer all of them together.
Hello, Baba.
Yes, sir.
Want to know person who wrote the book of Matthew,
The book of
the
Matthew.
author, the
Okay.
author of Matthew.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Any other? Yes. We are waiting. Any other? The rest, you mean you don't have any questions?
Yes, Papa, please, for now.
Okay. So we can most people have always been dead for those ones. While some had attributed it to Paul, some had also attributed it to Barnabas and Luke. Some had equally attributed it to Apollos, Silas, Philip, Priscilla, and others, because the name of the author is not given in the book itself. Okay, and then one thing we know that looks like if you go to chapter 13, verse 23, can we go there? Can we go there? If we are there, let's read that one. Chapter 13, verse 23. So if you have a Bible, you can refer to that one. Chapter 13, verse 23. Be aware that our brother Timothy has been released. If he comes soon enough, he will be with me when I see you. So, obviously, the author, more or less, once we have that part, that conclusion, it makes it looks like Paul. But then the other part is that in all the other Pauline letters or epistles, you see the way Paul normally brings a salutation, goes on with the issue, and then he concludes. But when we take a closer look at Hebrew, you see how he started the one. Not long ago, God spoke to the fathers by the prophet at different times and in different ways. In these days, in these last days, he has spoken to us by his son. God has appointed him heir of all things and made the universe through him. The Son is the radiance of God's glory and the exact expression of his nature, sustaining all things by his powerful word, after making purification for sins. And so you read this one and you read the other books, and so it makes you a bit confused as to who is the actual author of this one. Honestly, no specific scholarly document has assigned authorship of the book of Hebrew to anyone. So while some say it's Paul, some think it's Luke. Others have also written that, oh, it's Barnabas and Apollos and Silas. Some also think it's, oh, Philip, Priscilla, and others. And so for the one asking, author is unknown. Author of the book of Hebrew is unknown. And the reason for it not being known is what I have given. It looks like it's Paul, but not for Paul. It looks like Philip, Apollos. It's not them. We don't know it, to make it simple. All right. Yes, any other? Do we have any other? Do we have any other?
No, Papa.
Okay. All right. So I guess we can move on now.
Yes, please.
I'm sure we can move on now.
Yes, please.
All right. So now let's go to Matthew. With your Bibles, let's go to Matthew together. I want us to do something that you do to the other Gospels. Probably by the close of this week, we should finish with everything about the Gospels. I am trying hard so we don't spend so much time on the parables, because Papa started with that one. And I trust it went well. And I have also shared interpretation of the parables on the WhatsApp platform. I'm sure you are all on the platform.
Papa.
Yes, please.
Okay, so can you access it on the platform?
Okay.
So those of you who have checked, if you find that it is there.
Yes, it is there, please.
Okay, so you look at all those ones. Now, when you talk about the book of Matthew, this is how you would help yourself in learning it. The record of Jesus' ancestors, the historical antecedent given there, you need to not necessarily memorize everything. In fact, it's plenty. You can't memorize everything, but look out for the key people. Try to know who their fathers are. Since the book was written in a patriarchal environment, mothers were not often mentioned, but fathers have always been mentioned. This is the father of this. This gave birth to this one. This gave birth.
Hello.
It goes on to prove that it is the same story which has given there. When some of the example, Philip Hines, for instance, explained that Jesus being born in a manger, the manger typically stands for what the sheep feeds in. And so if he is the shepherd born in a manger, means that he is that feed for that sheep. And so when he says that I am the bread of life, it has a direct significance there. That is from Philip Hines and what he is teaching or his interpretation of those ones. But generally look out for the stories that led to they going there. You could be asked, he being born in a manger, what does it imply to the contemporary Christian living? The first thing that must come to mind is humility. The first thing that must come to mind in humility. Before any other apple you have, you can now go ahead and then talk about it. Now, on the issue of the temptation in the wilderness, we know that Satan comes to tempt him. Key issues are mentioned there. Key issues are mentioned there. It's about, first of all, it's about bread. Obviously, he has fasted for 40 days and nights. He should be famished. He should be very weak. And he should be hungry. And he says, if you are the Son of God, turn these stones to become bread. I'm reading from the verse 1. Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. After he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. Then the tempter approached him and said, "If you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread." But he answered, "It is written, man must not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city, had him stand on the pinnacle of the temple, and said, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He will give his angels orders concerning you, and they will support you with their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone." Psalm 91, 11 and 12. Psalm 91, 11 and 12. Go away. These are very common. He tempted him. Besides, the temptation also proved that Jesus is human. He came in the form of a human, and that is why he was able to tempt him. The temptation by the devil shows us that Jesus was human, and it gave Jesus the opportunity to reaffirm God's plan for his ministry. It also gives us an example to follow when we are tempted. He would face temptation and not give in. Although we may feel dirty after being tempted, we should remember the temptation itself is not sin. We sin when we give in and disobey God. And that is part of the significance that we could get from that one. Let's understand that Jesus wasn't tempted inside the temple or at his baptism, but in the wilderness, where he was tired and hungry, and thus most vulnerable. And so we also, as Christians, must understand where our vulnerabilities lie, where our weaknesses are, where we think we are in the wilderness. Of course, that is when the enemy will come. And that is when all these temptations will come on us. All that I was saying when I read, it is written, man must not live by bread. And I'll go and read Deuteronomy 8:3, where the devil said to Jesus that, for it is written, he will give his angels orders concerning you, and they will support you with their hands, so that you will not strike. The devil read it. The devil himself knows the psalm, because that is Psalm 91, 11 and 12. Do not put your Lord your God to test. Deuteronomy 6:16. And then go away, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only. Serve him. And Jesus now begins his ministry. And so he left where he was tempted, the wilderness, and then went to live in Capernaum by the sea. Yeah, hello.
Hello, Papa.
Yes, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, I can
Yes,
hear
please,
you,
I can
please.
hear you.
Yes, I thought
Papa,
you were
please, you
asking.
asked the question that Yes, please. You asked the question, how many times is Jesus tempted? How many times is he tempted?
Yes, from the Matthew chapter 4
I
accounts.
don't know whether you give that. Yes.
Sorry.
I don't know whether you give me the answer, but my next question because I didn't get it.
Oh, okay. The first one is on the bread. The second one is he should throw himself down. You understand?
Yes, please.
Aha. And then the next one was the enticement, the fame. I will give you the entire world. I will do this one. I will do this one. So if I'm asking a question for that, I can ask, which of the following is true about the temptation of Jesus according to Matthew chapter 4? Then I could use one of the that I could use food. I could use a test. Then I could use fame. Maybe I could use another one, and then ask you to select the one which is wrong.
Okay.
And so
Thank you.
that is basically yes, what you must understand. So from there, after the temptation, he left the place, and then the ministry is now starting here. Here he starts calling the people. We must also understand the first people that he called. We must understand the first people that he called. The very first people he called. So he went from the verse 15 of the 4. Land of Zebulun and land of Naphtali, along the road sea beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. The people who live in darkness have seen great light, and those who live in the shadow of death light has dawned on them. This one, I'm sure you all know it in Isaiah chapter 9. From then, Jesus began to preach, repent, for the kingdom of heaven has come near. 18. As he was walking along the sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon, who was called Peter, and his brother Andrew. They were casting a net into the sea, and they were fishermen. Follow me, he told them, and I will make you fish for people. Immediately they left their nets and they followed him. Here, the order in which he called the disciples. The order in which he called the disciples. Take time, read through that. That's why I said the book of that Genesis, the book of Matthew and then Luke is very important. It's very important, even though Mark is important, but the book of Matthew and Luke, they are very important. They give a chronology of all these instances, and it helps you in the study of the New Testament. Because these days, the nature of questions is more of questions that you have to provide answers, direct answers in there. You need to get all these ones, very simple and straightforward things, so that you will be able to put them there. So on the Sermon on the Mount, where he gives the Beatitudes, blessed are the. So first of all, you must understand this issue of Beatitudes. This issue of Beatitudes, you must understand them. You must understand them. So Sermon on the Matthew 5-7, called the Sermon on the Mount, because Jesus gave it on a hillside near Capernaum. He gave it on the hillside near Capernaum. That's why we call it the Sermon on the Mount. This sermon probably covered several days of preaching. In it, Jesus proclaimed his attitude towards the law. Position, authority, and money are not important in his kingdom. What matters is faithful obedience from the heart. The Sermon on the Mount challenged the proud and legalistic religious leaders of the day. It called them back to the messages of the Old Testament prophets, who, like Jesus, taught that heartfelt obedience is more important than legalistic. So here he has started the ministry, and for what he had come to do, he has started doing it. And so his teaching and everything is going in the direction which the leaders of the society were not too comfortable. For them, everything is about the law. It's about let's apply the law. It's about what is the law saying, but not on any other account. And any kind of right comes by law, you know that it is not, we are not dealing with a Christian living there. Righteousness which comes by law, you perish with it. But righteousness which comes by faith is what leads to justification. And so what they were doing was just a mere legalistic religious functionaries, or just religious law. You are good, but whether morally you are corrupt or whatever, nobody cares about that. And that is the distinction it makes there. On the Beatitudes, please listen. The poor in spirit are blessed, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. So blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. When we say the poor in spirit, please find out who the poor in spirit are. Can we have anybody help us? When we say blessed are the poor in spirit, yes, you can unmute your mic and tell us if you know.
Hello,
Hello.
Papa.
Yeah, who is there? You can unmute your mic and please tell us.
Yeah, Papa, I suggest, or I think the poor in spirit are those who have not heard of the gospel.
Okay. 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 Yes, any other?
Hello, Papa.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Papa, please, I also think the poor in spirit are people who are strong, like, for example, Colinus, who knew living righteous life, but a spiritual life was weak. So, Peter, I'm saying that the poor in spirit, they are people that they are like Colinus, who his almsgiving and his prayers were up, but because of his personal relationship with God, wasn't okay. So those are the poor in spirit.
Hello, Papa.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah, I also think that the poor is how important Christ is
Okay.
life. I'm referring to your salvation, how you need Christ for your salvation to be part of God's kingdom. So anyone who realizes that he needs Christ so that he can be part of God's kingdom is poor in the spirit.
Okay. Let's look at the Old Testament anticipation of poor in the spirit. Isaiah 57, verse 15. Isaiah 57, verse 15. Is anybody there? Isaiah 57, verse 15. Anybody who is there to please read for us? Isaiah 57, verse 15.
Hello, Papa.
Yes.
Hello, Papa.
Yes, I'm here.
Isaiah 57, verse 15.
57, verse 15. Yes.
For this is what the high and exalted one says, He who lives forever, whose name is holy. I live in a high and holy place, but also with the one who is contrite and low in spirit, to revive the spirit of the lowly and to revive the heart of the contrite. Amen.
Amen. So are you seeing the issues here?
Yes, please.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
please.
Yes.
So uh, we we are looking at poor in the spirit. It has appeared so many, given it, and so for that particular part, you need to get all those ones and get it well. Mm. If Christians make no effort to affect the world around them, they are of little value to God. If we are too much like the world, we are worthless.